I'm about to begin my first podcast here. I just decided to start a podcast for the donut truck called Podcast from My Donut Truck. I think it might be kind of a cool way to document what I'm doing and to kind of answer some questions for people that ask me all the time about my business or have like misconceptions about what I'm doing, and just things that get thrown at me on a daily basis. It might be kind of fun to just get my thoughts down in one spot. So I'm going to record it and videotape it so that I can post it on YouTube. So you can either listen to it or watch it if that's interesting to you. If not, oh well. The point really isn't to get a bunch of people to listen to it. I mean, if 2 people listen to it, great. If 200, amazing. But it's more or less for myself and the business, and just to kind of document where I'm going and where I'm headed and how I got here, and to get those thoughts kind of on social media and put them out there. I think so much of business in the beginning for me has been driven by fear and being afraid to do this or that, or what do people think if I post this or post something else that might not fare well with other people. But at this point I really need to throw that out the window and just be unapologetically myself, and give you guys kind of who I am and just put it all out there. So I just want to introduce myself so that people that have no clue what Shorty's Donuts is or who I am, so you kind of get a little gist of who I am. So introduction time. I am Morgan Hunter. I'm 36 years old, and I recently started Shorty's Donuts about a year ago. And the idea came about, basically I've owned a wholesale and past retail bakery since 2010, and lots of stuff along the way, but mostly just didn't love it anymore. It's made me who I am, and I've learned a lot from it, but I got to a point where I realized that I didn't love manufacturing and mass producing cookies, which is what I was doing. I did that for years for big grocery stores like Whole Foods and Nugget and Rayleigh's, and although I really enjoyed it at first and thought that that's where I wanted my business to go, somewhere along the line that changed, and I'd always had this idea of wanting to own a food truck. And so my husband, being a metal fabricator and building cars, that's what he does. And so when I told him the idea about building a food truck, he was totally on board and said that we couldn't build just any food truck. It had to be like a hot rod food truck. So hence the Chevy P10 that we built out. It's a 1978. It's pretty cool. We spent months sanding and restoring and making it beautiful to what it is now, to build out this business that initially started as just making artisan donuts and selling them, and is slowly evolving into other things. So it's kind of exciting to see the journey evolve and see where I was even just a year ago selling donuts and kind of just trying to figure out my niche here. And now, it's growing into other things, and so much bigger than I thought it could be. It's not always easy, and I think social media kind of portrays what we want to see, or what people think that you're supposed to put out there. And so I'm going to try to do a better job of putting out more reality and what's actually going on in the business, and not just show all of my days that I sell out of donuts and all the great parts of the business, but also show what isn't working or things that I've learned that I've just gone out and totally bombed. Like, for instance, today we went and did an event and it sucked. We barely sold any donuts. I'd committed to the event. A lot of times I do this where I get talked into things by people, or it's a friend of a friend that really wants me to go do this event and they think it's gonna be great, and why wouldn't people buy a ton of donuts because it's early morning, and there's always a spiel and something going along. But I need to remember to kind of stick to my gut and go by what I've learned in this business, and that I sell donuts for $2.50. That's not a lot of money. If you think about how many donuts I have to sell to make money, the operating cost of this truck is a lot. You know, insurance, fuel, I've got fuel for the truck, fuel for the generators, all of my paper goods, my food cost, the list goes on and on of expenses, and the total amount of dollars it takes to just take the truck out for a couple hours. People don't realize that it costs me money every time I drive it out of the driveway. So it's kind of a hard concept for people to grasp. So I get calls from people all the time saying, well, can you just swing by our office and sell donuts in the morning? Well, no, I can't just swing by. I have to make money, and there's no guarantee that people are going to come out and buy donuts. So, you know, I've learned that the best way for me to operate my business and what I'm doing is to be consistent. And that means being consistent in where I park, because then I'm building up a clientele much like a brick and mortar, although I don't have the overhead like a brick and mortar. So when I'm done for the day or I sell out, my expenses stop for the day, as far as fuel and being out and running my generators, and if I have staff that's on the truck or back at the kitchen making things for me, you know, it's a little bit more flexible, so it allows for a little bit more profit, but there's also a lot of other aspects of that. So without going like fully into detail of what like a day is and how it all works right now, it's just something that I'm learning, that I can't just go to these events and expect to always sell out or always make enough money to make it worth it. It's really hard when you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and then you don't get home till 1 o'clock and you barely made $200, and your cost to just take the truck out for the day is $500. So, you know, to be in the hole sucks, but live and learn. And I think moving forward, I've learned the lesson that I need to have like a required minimum. If people want me to come to their event and they think it's going to be so great, well, put your money where your mouth is. You know, I have to make a certain amount of money. In my spot where I park on Saturdays normally, I have a trend. I have data that shows on average this is what I make a day, so I know what to expect. I know what to bring. I know I won't have very much waste. That's as good as a guarantee as I can get. So for someone to ask me to not go there where I know I'm going to make X amount of dollars and come to an event and hopefully make money, sometimes it works out great. Sometimes I make a ton of money and awesome. But I'd say majority of the time I don't. So I'm just kind of making a mental and verbal note to myself right now to not do that anymore. So moving forward, I'm, you know, learning this business lesson right now. But anyways, so podcast, this is the first official one. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what I do, and I love the business. So I'm excited to share that with everyone. So talk to you later. Bye.